Hello everybody. Just want to make sure we're not locked in portrait mode. Alright. I was wondering why it looked kind of funny. Oh, this video might end up sideways, but today is Kids and Pets Day. So it's talking all about the relationship between children when they're little and their pets and how that changes their personality when they grow up. So, they did a lot of studies on kids who had pets when they were younger and kids that didn't. Personally, I had fish, hamsters, bird, a lizard, but never anything substantially larger than a guinea pig. But for children that have pets growing up, it teaches them responsibility, obviously, because they have to learn how to train them and take them out and be responsible for walking them. Safety, because they know what to keep out of their pet's environment to keep them from choking or swallowing something that could poison them. Compassion, because they learn to pick up on the animal's emotions and actually become more adept at reading people's emotions. Time management is also really important because they have to plan their schedule around taking the dog out or changing their cat's litter box or things like that. There's a big deal on educating kids on how to act around pets because I find that a lot of people really don't know how to act around animals, and some really drastic proof of this. When I took Kaya to the Canadian Pet Expo, there was a girl there, and I feel like she'd maybe never seen a dog that was Kaya's size, I guess. But we were at least 30 feet away from her. She saw her and shrieked and ran away. So doing things that draw attention to yourself around animals is probably not the smartest idea. You want to remain calm and approach them quietly. If you're worried about your child being injured by a pet, the most important thing you can teach them is how to interact with strange animals. And by strange, I just mean ones that don't know them or have spent a lot of time around them. So if you're out walking and there's a dog walking towards you on the sidewalk, know that they're not supposed to shriek and run up and try and pet the dog without talking to the owner first. Because the dog may not like being approached, the dog may not like children specifically, and the dog may feel threatened if the child is running at them. I know I had an experience when Kaya was younger with a child on a skateboard, and he almost ran into her, and she barked at him. She didn't lunge or bite, she just barked at him to let him know, okay, you're in my space, that's not okay. And he got scared and ran away. I said, well, if your parents didn't teach you how to show respect for the animals, she didn't do anything wrong. She was telling him, you're in my space, please don't come in any closer. But a lot of the kids don't know. And since a lot of them are getting out of school soon, having that talk with them and sitting them down and saying, okay, don't approach strange animals. Don't think every animal wants to be petted, because a lot of them do not. And especially on sidewalks, I find that people don't know how to walk by dogs when they're crossing on the sidewalk because it's a really interesting... Why am I sideways? I forgot to turn off the portrait lock setting and turn it on auto rotate when I started the video and tried to change it and it didn't work. So that is why I'm sideways. All of the comments and everything are sideways, but I am upright when I'm looking at it. So this one's not going on YouTube, obviously. But they've actually found that kids with learning disabilities have a higher level of academic success when they grew up with pets, because it teaches them all of these important skills like time management and compassion for other things and learning to take responsibility for another living thing, which also sets them up very well to be parents, because a lot of people compare having a pet to being a parent. Because when you first get them, if you get them when they're really little, there's all of the making sure they go out to the bathroom and get enough to eat and make sure they like their food and have play dates and all of these things. And I know it's not the same as having a baby, I'm very aware of that, but I went through quite a few months of not sleeping when we first got Kaya. So it seems very similar to me. And I know, again, it's not the same, but I mean, we took her to puppy classes, we went to pet first aid to learn how to take care of her and everything, and she is my baby. Kaya's a huge part of my life, and I know if anything ever happened to her, I would be terrified. And even when she had a bout of vomiting about a month ago, I was all over it. I was doing research, I was figuring out what was wrong, did iridology, acupressure on her, everything, to try and make sure that she was okay. But we're getting on a tangent here. The research also shows that shy children who don't like interacting with other people find it easier to interact with children. So, with pets, because there's that unconditional love. And it teaches them how to be more social and interact with other children their age, which is a really big deal, especially when they reach school age and they have to, make friends and all of that. So having a pet, even if it's a goldfish, even if it's a plant, I mean, giving them something to be in charge of is really, really important. I did talk about the nurturing, being a good parent later on. Never leave small children alone with pets, because a lot of times they will throw things, they will try and grab something out of the animal's mouth, they will fling things. I know we had a barbecue here last summer, and the whole family came over. There was about 25 of us, and Kaya was in her pen outside. We gave her a bone, so she was nice and calm, but she did not like the shrieking children. And I acknowledged that, so that I kept her away from them, because she's not used to toddlers running around, falling over, and shrieking and shouting, and I did what was necessary to keep her safe without putting anybody in danger. And we gave her a break inside, took her for a walk while the food was being cooked and everything, and she actually did quite well. It was a very stressful day for her, though, because she just wanted to be friends with everybody and kind of get to greet everyone. She didn't get to greet everyone because they were so distracted with the toddlers. But everybody was safe. It was fine. But it stressed her out that she couldn't greet everyone. And I know it's the parents' decision whether or not they want their child to greet the pet. But most of them had never seen a dog before. And for them now, every time they see a dog, they're going to have that nervousness about it, no matter how young they are, because that gets ingrained in their brain. So having a traumatic experience with a pet, I know when I was, maybe 10 or 11, my cousin's German Shepherd bit me, and I have a scar on my leg, but that's because I was tobogganing, and the dog was way off sniffing somewhere, and as soon as we start going down the hill, it was a German Shepherd. Again, no branding on this breed is wrong, this breed is mean, but it was a German Shepherd, and it raced across the hill, and I was wearing snow pants, thank God, but it bit my leg, and this was, I think, Thanksgiving, but didn't even puncture the skin, everything was fine, but something maybe could have been done to maybe not put the dogs out with the tobogganing children who were, excited and running up and down the hill, would have been a safer option. And it's just something you have to live with, right? But some of these mistakes can be fatal, because thousands of children are injured and killed every year by pets, and most of them live on the same street as the child that gets injured. So teaching your kids how to interact with strange animals, even if they live on the same street, even if it's an animal you go and see all the time, make sure they understand how to greet an animal. And if the animal doesn't want to spend time with them, then they need to understand that that's the animal's choice, and not to force them, because it will make them more protective and defensive. So that's just something else to keep in mind. Hello to whoever's here. It's funny, one of my most viewed videos, I'm sideways. What a shame. But one of the other important things is that kids make really strong bonds with their pet, and having that experience as a child, I know I was very close with my hamster and all of that when I was younger, and then I had a bird and a lizard for a while, but if I had had a dog growing up, my life would be very different. Not in the ways that I would think, probably. Because my household was very busy. When I was younger, my mom raised my brother and I by herself. And if we had gotten a dog, it would have been way too overwhelming for everyone, and I understand that now. But every year since I was about 3, I asked for a dog for my birthday. And I finally convinced her a year and a bit ago, I guess. Kai's almost 2, but I understand that now, and I understand she was doing what was safe for everyone and what was best for the dog in the end. I still miss the bird. I miss Zora too. She actually turned 9 at the end of March. But I don't know. She went to one of my mom's clients when I moved to university because I wasn't allowed to have pets. But she was a good bird. She was a good bird. I actually got her from my friend who lives a couple of blocks away. But it's kind of an unshakable bond. And I did just watch A Dog's Purpose, so I'm a little emotional around that kind of stuff. But I have told the story about what happened when my hamster, who lived for like 7 years, it was a crazy hamster, but she died, and we buried her in the backyard, and I refused to go to school that day because I was so upset. And then later we were having dinner, and there was birds digging a hole where we buried her, trying to get to the corpse. So that was a little traumatizing. But giving them that bond, it teaches them so many important things. I cannot stress this enough. But a lot of times for kids, their pet is their best friend. They grow up with their pet, they know everything about them, and then when the pet eventually passes, it teaches them that emotional, I guess, I don't want to say emotional intelligence, but the compassion and the empathy and all of that. So definitely, I would, if you are in the situation where you can have a pet in your house and you have time to look after them and the money to take care of them properly, I would highly recommend a pet in a household with children. If your kids aren't allergic, they can totally change your life. And I know Kaya has done that for me and my entire household. But I will never, ever have a household without a dog in my entire life. Starting from when I got Kaya. I know that. But I'm getting off on another tangent. That is all I wanted to say about Kids and Pets Day. Just spend some time with your family. I know a lot of little kids really, really want pets when they're younger. And I know I've had this conversation with my mom several times about stories that I've told her or concocted about me with pets when I was younger, saying, but if I had a dog, then this. But it would have made my life very different than it is right now. And I understand why it turned out the way it did, but give your kid a chance. Even just, you don't have to get a pet necessarily, but even look after one for a friend for a couple of days. That's what we started with. When I was younger, we watched I think it was a golden retriever for 2 days. 2 days in the house. She slept in my room, and I woke up in the middle of the night to take her out. I was very, very responsible. And then when she went home, I was really sad, but it taught me more about how to interact with them and how important it is to understand your pet and how they're trying to communicate with you, because that's the basis of the relationship, right? Since I can't verbally say anything to you. But without going into a third, fourth tangent, that is all I have to say, and I hope this video is not totally weird with me being sideways, but have a fantastic Wednesday, and I don't know when the next video is. It's in my book, but it's in the next couple of days. I am at Pet Value in Stouffville on Saturday from 10 to 4. If you want to come check it out, come have a chat with me. Be more than happy to chat with you about anything pet related. But have a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you later.